Robert Forrest.
Mark.
Christine Marie Brelia.
Gabrielle.
2011.
Matty Blade.
Violet Walkton-Brown.
Žarko Mičanović. We first came here about 1985 from New Zealand.
Born in London, I saw a poster at the station and it said come to sunny Perth, Australia, you know, and it was a terrible day in the middle of winter, so I went to Australia House down the Strand, and they said you've come to the right place, so I filled out the forms, and that was it basically. I came out by ship.
I ended up here because I actually had a friend, knew one guy over here, so I came over to just crash on his couch to have a look, see what was going on.
When we arrived in Perth, our containers arrived as well. We had nowhere else to go, and we found Fremantle was the best place to come to.
It's the furthest place west, you can't go any further, and then you sort of realise you're here 11 years later. It's good.
We were advised not to come here because everyone thought it was a sleazy dump. You know, most of West Australians thought this is a real horrible place. Our accountant advised us against it, our lawyer as well. We moved here, and it's been good since.
Well, I grew up all over the place. I didn't actually spend a lot of time in Fremantle, so I went to Queensland and France and Darwin, and this is the first time I've come back to really live here and experience Fremantle as my home. So
I don't know what it is. Fremantle has got something that's unique, much more than Perth. Perth doesn't do anything for me.
I mean, look, the sun's shining outside now, you know, and you're not in Perth with all the workers out there, you know, the office workers and that, and it's just an ambience down here.
There's just something really nice and relaxed about Fremantle, very homely, very welcoming.
It's an amazing little spot.
It's got a really vibrant community, and it's less business, I guess, oriented.
I don't really know what it is, but it's Freo.
And as I say, before the America's Cup, the whole of Fremantle looked shabby.
Bondi won the America's Cup and put Fremantle on the map of the world. And we had this influx of tourists, which is absolutely exotic.
Businesses started to change, and the people that were attracted to Fremantle were also different.
And in those days, the only people that were here, basically, well, you had the Australians. I said, but you know, everyone else was immigrants, you know, coming from mainly Europe.
Lots of hippies, lots of maritime union miners. It was just people that came to Fremantle generally wanted to have fun.
It was a major immigration port where all the migrants come. So when you come to Fremantle, you notice that we're very diverse in our culture. So there isn't just any one culture that lives here. You walk down the street and you can see people from all over the world, and that's their home, that's our home.
The dynamics of Fremantle has changed drastically, completely changed to what it was back then, like in 1968, because the wharf had 6,000 men on it. 6,000 men, now there's 500. So the whole west end of town was busy with wharfists and also lots of immigrants, Italians.
It was only a pub-orientated end of town because of the ports, and that's where all the, what we used to call wharfies used to come, and we used to have nothing but seedy drunks and topless barmaids, but now it's wonderful.
Honestly, Notre Dame is probably the best thing that's happened to this part of town. You know, not a good influx of young students, and also, you know, backpackers and that. You know, it's really brightened this part of town up.
I hope that some of the old, unused, derelict buildings get turned into something and make the place useful. We've got a beautiful place for people to visit. It's so interesting, and it's still very small and community-like, but we've got nowhere to home these people.
The wall stores, I mean, the wall stores are an eyesore. You know, either make them into apartments or knock it down and build something else.
And it's just such a waste. It's such a waste of real estate, it's such a waste of opportunity, and it's such a waste of a presentation of a beautiful city.
How has it changed? In '97 you could buy a house in South Fremantle for $110,000. Now your agent would take that much money from you.
On the ground level, street level, I think it'd be really good if they could just still incorporate something that's more vibrant, whether it just keeps open to shop fronts, more cafes, some nightclubs, you know, some proper nightclubs in Fremantle might actually be good.
It changed drastically. People changed, I mean, configuration, population changed.
Fremantle has declined over the last 5 years, I've watched it get less and less tourism.
It's losing its charm. Just look at the strip, you know, from Gino's, there used to be a bunch of people always, dogs everywhere, you know, smoking joints outside, you know, and stuff. Now you have people that are in Armani suits, you know, sitting there and drinking coffee, you know. They don't even have a music anymore in Gino's, you know, because I bet somebody complained that it was too disturbing while they're having their business meeting.
I think that it's right now at a time of change, and I think it's important how the city and the council and citizens of Fremantle deal with that, so that it doesn't really become over gentrified, I guess. It retains that really artistic, like holistic sort of feeling that I think Fremantle was established on, with the Italians and the hippies and the Croatians, all that, you know, ethnic groups that kind of came to make Fremantle what it is.
I'd like to see it remain sort of with the same traditional buildings and, you know, the heritage that we've got here. I don't want to see it, you know, just become another Perth with a million high-rise buildings and, you know, being about business.
You know, you want a good town, you protect it or create it and shape it how you want through the community. Like, the government's not going to do it. The mayor, you know, the councillors, you know, they can do so much, but at the end of the day, the community needs to chip in and make that change as well.
I'm pretty excited about what can happen. It's a very young council that's in power at the moment.
Somewhere as localised as Fremantle definitely has the space for it, the room to grow, you know, and it's so like a younger generation starting to come through now, which is, you know, right on the cusp of that sort of starting to show. There's a younger council.
It's really a mixed bag. Freo really is a melting pot.
There's something very special about Fremantle, I think, in the sense that it's, you know, it's small enough that you can have, you know, a very large group of friends. You can, you know, go out and you see people that you meet. There's a very sort of close-knit sense of community here.
The lifestyle, the restaurants, the good bookshops, the shopping down here.
Very lively, always busy. A lot of pubs, a lot of clubs, you know, like food everywhere.
The essence of what Fremantle was when I came, to me, is essentially, like, it's still there.
There's a lot of arts and music, and, you know, it's a very lively place, very creative place.
I think it's retained a lot of its character since I came here in 1997. That is, it's pretty like familiar. You know, you've got a very tight-knit group of people that have lived in this city for a long time, and the people that come here sort of really engage with that as well, like the backpackers, students that come from overseas. I mean, everybody can see what the identity of Fremantle is, and it seemed to retain that character.
There's a very sort of interconnected feeling about people and businesses, and just the general community, a very supportive sort of environment.
There's like a youthfulness about it, but there's also a bit of wisdom in the background. It's sort of like a family that's got a bit of infighting, you know. There's like the old generation is being challenged by the young generation.
If I was the king of Fremantle, it'd be a very different world. I tell you what, a lot of problems in Fremantle, but it's nothing I couldn't have fixed with a couple of bulldozers and a flamethrower.
You know what? I would bring some things back, like free parking, as it used to be, you know? Free parking. For crying out loud, that's why we was busy so much, even in the middle of winter when there were no tourists, you know, because it was free parking.
But at the end of the day, you know, it's like, progressively we have to move forward. And I'm not afraid of change. It's a necessary part of the evolution of a city.
And just having more creative things on the street, like increasing the festivals, I think bringing some vibrancy down High Street as well. And then I'm enjoying like watching the development in South Fremantle as well. It's sort of stretching a bit longer also. Maybe fixing up the King Square around like the Myers and all of that.
Yeah, it's starting to sort of pick that up. Like, locals are starting to realise what they have in stock. Like, we've got a really good town here.
I think essentially the people that are in Fremantle that really love and care about it are there as sort of maybe hopefully the last line of defence to sort of retain what's been so great about Fremantle, but help it develop too, because it needs to look towards the future and become a modern version of what it was, I think.
It's home. I mean, really, Fremantle's home. It's and I personally, I won't go anywhere else.
It's my home, it's my family, it's my livelihood, it's where I've raised my children. It's home.
A sense of home. I've travelled so many places and lived in so many different places, and Fremantle's the first time where I've lived somewhere and really felt like it's my home.
If I'm in Canada, if I'm in Melbourne, it's not the same. Every time I come back here, it's home. I mean, I actually love this place. I mean, I am attached to this place. As I said, love and hate. But it's more love. That's why I'm, coming back here, and I'm always pretty much here. I'll probably be here for another 20 years before I decide to move anywhere else.